Hey, good morning. January 13th, 2022. It's about 7:20 in the morning on the east coast of the United States, and it says here 45 and clear. Well, I told you yesterday that I would talk about cups, different kinds of cups for drinking coffee. You know what? I thought up this recipe that I feel like it would be fun, and I want to spend more time with it. But let me tell you this, because this is something that people do wonder about. You know how espresso is usually served in these little cups, and they're usually very thick and almost like the old-fashioned diner coffee cups that are real thick, but these are small. You know the reason why they're so thick? Because there's such a small amount of coffee when you get an espresso, like less than an ounce and a half, that it would cool off very quickly if it was in a larger cup or a cup that was wider. So this is a narrow, thick cup, and it keeps that heat in so that you can sip on that espresso and it won't get cold. And then, if you notice, there's other shapes of cups for, in fact, if you go to a really good coffee shop, they will have certain cups where you could even tell what somebody ordered by how the cup looks. Like a cup, well, you know what? I said I wasn't going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it any further right now because I wanted to tell you about a couple other things and then do this recipe. Okay, so listen, I took notes yesterday about two popular kinds of coffee that have espresso bases, all right? So the first one is a cappuccino, all right? Now, I have a point for telling you all this. Don't take notes, just listen. So a cappuccino is a 1-to-2 ratio of espresso to foamed milk, measuring the milk before foaming it, okay? So like, let's say if you have an ounce of espresso, you'd have 2 ounces of milk, and then you'd go ahead and you'd froth or foam that milk and then pour it in. Okay, a latte is a 1-to-4 ratio of espresso to the milk, and the foam should take up about 20% of the total amount that you end up coming out with, okay? In other words, of the espresso plus milk volume. Okay, got that? No, probably not, okay? These days, especially, many coffee places make these drinks, and basically, if they make a latte, they just put a whole lot more foam on top, and they call it a latte, or they call it a cappuccino, but a cappuccino should have more espresso in it, and, you know, proportionately less foam. They kind of make up for it by the looks of how much foam they throw on top. So if you keep in mind, if you're making it at home and you want to call something a latte versus a cappuccino, the latte has a lot more milk in it, latte milk, okay? But you know what? This is what the conclusion that I've come to, okay? Whatever I make at home, as long as I like it, that's all that's important. And spot on my glasses. And basically, the way I base how much milk I'm going to put on top of that espresso, or to brew that espresso into, depends on the size of my electric milk frother. I usually fill it up to the same amount no matter what I'm making. Sometimes I'll use a different size glass. That kind of limits me, you know, with my proportions. But, you know, I try experiments, and I don't like to measure out a whole bunch of stuff and dirty up a whole bunch of glasses. Well, listen, this is what I was gonna make this morning. Now, you know, I've got almond milk here. I have a container of oat milk, but I don't want to open it yet. These nut milks last like 5 to 10 days. And since I usually only drink it in my coffee, you know, I'm not going to use it up very quickly. So I'm going to go with the almond milk, which does not froth very well. So it's essentially going to be like a hot milk. And I have measured in my milk frother, so I can approximate about how much stuff I'm putting in it. So I probably have 2 or 2.5 ounces of milk in here, okay? Now this is what I'm gonna do for this recipe this morning. Okay, see this? This is powdered peanut butter. I'm making Reese's coffee, peanut butter chocolate coffee. So the nice thing about this is for 2 tablespoons, it's only 50 calories versus about 200 if you got the, you know, already made peanut butter. Okay, and what you do with this is you mix it with water and it reconstitutes and basically is a low-fat peanut butter, and it really tastes good. This stuff, by the way, it's got roasted peanuts, cane sugar, and sea salt. So it's got 1.5 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbohydrates, and one of which is fiber, and 6 grams of protein. Okay, so I'm just gonna use a scant single tablespoon here, which would be like 25 calories, and I'm dumping it into my milk frother. So remember, this does reconstitute with water, so it'll be just fine. Now, I've got my Walden Farms chocolate syrup, so I'm going to go ahead and pour about, a little over a tablespoon in there. And for 2 tablespoons, this counts as 0 calories. So, you know, we're doing good so far. All right. And okay, and it's mixing around in there. I'll get my coffee ready. I decided, I happen to have a capsule of chocolate fudge for my Vertuo. So I thought, well, why not? You know, I'll try that. Now that does make 7.77 ounces. So I've got a 16-ounce recipe cup here. Take the stand off and just put it right under there. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to wait until this milk and peanut butter and everything froths up. Here, let's take a look. Oh, it's hard to see because it's heating the milk, so it's forming condensation on the lid. But now, you know, when I'm done making this, I'm going to have to give a good washing to that frother. I'll have to pull out the little spring that whips everything around and scrub that off to make sure none of the peanut butter stuff or the chocolate stuff stuck to it. Well, let's see, it's still spinning around. Unfortunately, it's not gonna froth up because it's that almond coconut milk, but I'll try it with oat milk one morning. Oh, it's ready. Okay, so we have, well, you'll see when I pour it into the glass. All right, so this is kind of like a thick peanut buttery chocolatey mixture. Oh, okay. I've got to taste it. Peanut butter and chocolate. Okay, so now I've got my chocolate fudge coffee here. And we will go ahead and start it going. I've never done this before. Yes, you would think that maybe I should have tried this out. No, I figured we'd try it together. Okay, come on, coffee. Come on, it's heating up. Okay. So here it comes. Come on, coffee. Come on, coffee. There we go. Oh, there you can see it. Oh my. Okay. This is kind of fun. So, essentially, with the milk, I've only got, let's see, about 2 ounces, quarter of a cup. So, you know, maybe less than 10 calories. And with the powdered peanut butter, less than 25 calories. And this is a pretty low-cal drink that I'm fixing here. I'm sure it's going to taste good, but you never really know till you try, right? So, ooh, pretty, pretty. Okay. So let me grab this up here. Put my phone in the stand. I don't want it to fall out. Sometimes, a few times, I almost dropped my phone in the coffee. Okay. Okay, so we have got chocolate peanut butter coffee, or you can call it Reese's coffee, I guess, because it's like having a peanut butter cup. Now you can always add more milk to this, but I'll see how it tastes like this. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, if you like peanut butter, you are gonna like this. I think. Let me think about that a second. Okay. I think it depends what kind of peanut butter you prefer. Some people buy peanut butter that is made from essentially just peanuts, you know, ground up, and maybe have a little oil in it so it can be, you know, smooth and spreadable. Some people get peanut butter with all sorts of additions to it, to where it's so smooth. It's smooth almost like honey, and you can't even tell there's peanuts in it except for a peanutty flavor. So for people who are more into the more natural peanut butter, I would say they would like this, because on your tongue, there's a little bit of the, I don't know, it's almost like ground peanuts. I mean, it's not like it's grainy or anything, but oh my goodness, you just have to try this, really. And listen, honestly, if you like peanut butter and you want to cut back on calories, this powdered peanut butter stuff is really the way to go. Actually, I have several different brands. I've got True Nut, I've got Just Peanuts. Oh, that's in my pantry closet back in the house. But lots of times I'll buy this great value powdered peanut butter from Walmart because this whole big thing, it's, what is it, 30 ounces is only $10. So this goes quite a long way, much further than a jar of peanut butter goes. You know, I wonder if I would like this a little sweeter. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to get out some, do I have any I don't think I have any chocolatey kind of syrups open right now. Oh, I've got just about every other kind. I'll put a little simple syrup in here, okay, to sweeten it up. This is the 0-calorie Jordan's Skinny Syrup, simple syrup, which is just like having a plain sugar syrup. See how that is? Because you know, very often adding a sweetener will help bring out flavors that you might not otherwise taste. I've noticed that, for example, with peppermint tea, that it tastes more pepperminty if you sweeten it a little bit. Yes, that's better with a little sweetener in it, because I don't think that the Walden Farms chocolate syrup that I used was quite sweet enough. So there you go. Chocolate peanut butter coffee. Who would have thought of that, right? And has a little bit of a thicker consistency than just the plain coffee with milk would have because of that peanut butter and that chocolate. So hello to everybody who is watching. I see Judy, Kevin, Keitsa, maybe Philip is watching too, I don't know. And I can't see any other names right now, but listen, I hope that you have a good day, a fun day if possible, and a day where you're spreading kindness to others.